Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. We are going to jump into another question from the inbox today. This one is about the new energy that's coming your way. We've heard a lot about this new energy that's coming your way, and I've started to receive messages that say that you guys are meeting those people. And they're coming in all shapes and sizes and forms, and some of them are a little bit unexpected. And, there are definitely a couple of them that seem romantically inclined already. Some just seem to be new friends, and you kind of are telling me I don't see this going to a romantic place, but yet the friendship is very compelling. It's interesting, and in some cases the triggering is starting. So we're gonna look to see what the new soulmate, like what their intentions are, what this new person wants. I've gotten this question in a couple of different forms, and I think it's a great question given everything that we've heard about it so far. And we'll just kind of see what comes out here. So I will make this a general reading for this collective, of course. So it's not going to resonate with everybody, but if it does resonate with you, then by all means, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and take a look at some of the other messages and see what kinds of things might also resonate with you. So we'll start out by looking at the general energetic and emotional backdrop right now. And this is going to be overall energetic backdrop, because oftentimes when I'm looking at you and your specific soulmate, who is definitely in most cases, almost every case, a known individual, then I can look kind of at the energetic and emotional backdrop that mostly impacts the two of you. But since some of you have not yet met this person, we're going to look at the energetic and emotional backdrop that surrounds both of you, but it's going to probably be a little bit more general. So let's see here. And we know we may get a little bit of that, some of the rest of the energies that are hanging around, the energies of that full moon. Oh, we've got the Fool card in the reverse and the Page of Water. All right. So right off the bat, there's a little bit of conflict here. So with the Page of Water, this is a youthful energy, willing, it's creative, conscientious, communicative. This is the sort of energy that can come in and bring an apology. It's not an apology in this case, but it's got that sort of gentleness to it. With the Fool card in the reverse, though, this one is about not approaching. So you may have somebody that's kind of sitting on the sidelines and for whatever reason isn't really approaching. Now we know that this person is there, or maybe it's you that isn't wanting to approach, because we know that this person is a little bit more mature emotionally than the person that you had been dealing with, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be bulletproof. They might still have some things that concern them about moving forward with something, or if they're even thinking about approaching you just to say, let's go to coffee or something like that. It could still be something that concerns them a little bit. So there's some consulting of the higher powers going on here with both of you, it feels like, and a movement toward, it's like you guys are calling each other in. So with this other soulmate that we've often been reading about, that person manifested you very much into their lives. Here, though, it's feeling like you guys are co-manifesting one another, but not necessarily on a conscious basis. With the King of Crystals here, there's a little bit of a feeling that you're manifesting it, but you're not sure if you deserve it. So just something to kind of be aware of there. And this is something that's kind of happening just in the background with you guys. Five of Feathers. There is a little bit of fear that just hangs around the edges. This isn't the core of it for either of you, because I don't think that as the two of you meet, you're really expecting much. So you're not really going to be concerned about much. And this is kind of the fear that hangs around the edges that's ready to swoop in if the time is right. I don't get the sense that it's exactly swooping in yet, though. So this is that energy of a battle that you win at any cost and that sort of thing. But it feels like it hasn't been activated yet. Like I said, it kind of feels like it's around the edges of the emotion a little bit for you. Let's see here. We've got the Two of Acorns. All right, so there's going to be another sort of difference with your other soulmate. There was a Two of Acorns, or this is like a Two of Wands. It's that fire energy. There was a Two of Acorns that we saw constantly coming up in the past, where it was some sort of difference between you and your person that was like an age gap, or it was a religious difference, a racial difference. It was some kind of difference that doesn't impact everyone, but for whatever reason, it was really being kind of put up as a, hey, here's a big reason why maybe I'm not into this or I'm not doing this right now. At least in their own mind, they might not have been saying it to you. It could have been a socioeconomic status thing. There's some kind of difference that the family was going to have a problem with, or their values didn't quite, something was there that was, that kind of created this difference, that kind of created an impasse and required some emotional travel between the two of you, like a distance needed to be covered. In this case, it feels like a distance needs to be covered also, but some of this distance may be a little bit more literal. You may be meeting someone who's at a little bit of a distance. That's definitely not going to be for everybody, but it's there. Okay, so we've got the awakening and the world. You've got the end of the end of a cycle, then the awakening, which is kind of it's a reconciliation energy, but it's a reconciliation energy within yourselves. It's like something clicks, both of you. Something clicks within both of you. So it's a little bit of a like a soul recognition, not dissimilar to the one that you had with your other soulmate, but I think it's going to feel pretty different. Those of you who have gotten in touch with me have not indicated that you feel like a stronger connection to this person than your soulmate. In some cases, you feel like it's a lesser connection. But it is going to be something that ends a cycle with that other soulmate. And when I say ends a cycle, it's going to be there are numerous cycles that are happening there. The way that this is feeling, the way that this is being described, and this is going to end something, but maybe open up possibilities for others. And with this being a reconciliation energy within the self, this is a step that I feel like needs to be taken. But there is something that you don't do. That's something that I think has come up here in, well, I just had a Queen of Wands, Queen of Fire energy. And that was the passion that is behind this thing that you don't do. It's an honorable mention, but I just kind of wanted to make sure that I got it out there. With that Queen of Wands, you have a desire to do something that is being presented to you as an opportunity. We've seen that in a couple of these other readings, but for whatever reason, it's not a great plan, and you are not doing it. This is like the equivalent of, it's the Traveler in reverse. It's the equivalent of the Fool in reverse, like you'd see over here, only it feels very different because it refers to something very different. This is jumping into something new that is with this soulmate, the new soulmate. This is jumping into something that is kind of more of a known. I had made a reference at one point to, because I thought it was a real outlandish reference that wouldn't probably nail it for anybody, that, you had some kind of drug that's very difficult to get off of, and you're working towards getting off of that drug and giving it up, and then the dealer shows up and has a great deal for you. It's that kind of thing. This is what you're basically being told. Nope, don't do it. It's not a good plan. There's something here that that shows up as a possibility that off right immediately is not a great plan, and yet you still have passion to do it. So beware, it's not simply going to be an easy decision. So let's go into what actually this person wants with you. What are their intentions? And keep in mind that this may be unknown to them as well. So they are not necessarily coming into this thinking as they're manifesting you. You guys are co-manifesting one another, but not in a necessarily a clear manner. Okay, so it's more of a conceptual manner, which means you almost have to figure out, whoa, is this the person? When you get them in front of you, but you may not really be consciously manifesting them anyway, so you may not even know to ask that question, and they're kind of in the same place. So if you were to say, hey, what do you want with this person? They'd be like, what do you mean? You're not entirely sure how to answer the question. And I think, all right, so it's about unlocking something that's in between them and what they're trying to meet a goal. They're trying to unlock something that has vexed them and that has created issues for them in the past. something that they've been, I think, a little bit more like there's a fear here they're looking to overcome that's a little bit buried, and they definitely don't know this is what they're after. This is the lesson that they're here to learn. We've heard that they have that they will be triggered by you, that they have a lesson to learn, but we haven't learned much about it. So I think we're seeing a little bit about that lesson here. They're looking to unlock. They need something to light their soul on fire, and even if they've found it for whatever reason, they can't access it. And so you're kind of the key to that. You're the key to learning the lesson. So you're going to trigger them a little bit. They may respond to that in a way that triggers you. But you may already be on alert because this person treats you better. This person treats you better they than you're used to being treated. A lot more like you expect that someone should treat you, even if it's not the way that you typically expect to be treated because it's not the experience you've had. And indeed, there is a lot of love here. There's a lot of love, and you guys are a really good match. Whether you're just friends or some kind of romantic combination, something starts to happen there. You guys are a really good and loving combination. And this is why I've seen in the past that this relationship does not always necessarily last. So this one, as it comes up, I think it may be the type of relationship where you can teach each other lessons and then learn those lessons together, stay together, and maintain a solid relationship. I think that's likely to happen here, regardless of the nature of that relationship, but it may shift. So you may come in as friends and then it develops into more of a romance, and then maybe it goes back to being more friends, but it never really, it's not a big, tumultuous, horrible thing. There's, the learning in this, like I've said, will trigger both of you, but it's not the type of relationship with the situation that you've been having before, where that one has been particularly harsh and difficult to get past. There is going to be, so here's how the triggering kind of starts. There's some expectation on your person's part, that, or this new person's part, that they're going to be able to manage things better than I think they will. They don't know what's missing for them here. They don't know what they don't know. But they are going to be willing to jump in and figure it out. So it turns out that even though they may have a bit of a response to all this, and it may not be that they may do a little bit of in and out behavior, which may be part of what triggers you. But I think they pick it up and kind of figure it out a lot more quickly than this last person has done. There is something that just says, and this is an honorable mention, but this is something that just kind of says things have already been set into motion. So even if you haven't met this person, the manifestation has gained enough traction that things are really starting to kind of move toward one another. And in some cases, like we know it moves very slowly, the relationship. So you could have met them and they're standing off to the sidelines, not necessarily wanting to communicate. But being ready to think about communicating. There's something that's opening up right there. And so that's in today's energy. With the Three of Shells in reverse, this is somebody who is not going to let third party energy get in the way, whether it's their job, their family. If they've got a spouse and this is a friendship, they're still going to be able to hang out with you. You know, it's not necessarily, it really depends on everybody's situation. It's going to be a little bit different, but you're going to see part of why you've been treated like such an option and kept at such arm's length by this other person. If there was any question about how this person, whether or not your person that you have been dealing with, whether they have been keeping you in a holding pattern, whether they've been keeping you at a distance, if you've been trying to think about, well, maybe I'm just perceiving it that way, this person is not going to hold you at a distance. They're going to keep you much closer and be much more willing to prioritize you, and you're going to realize, oh my goodness, this is what it should have been like. You know, it's going to teach you some things that make you much more prepared to go back into the situation with your initial soulmate to be able to talk through things and have some idea of what you need. And this is part of what sets you up for success, because this is part of what you do need. You know, you need somebody that's going to prioritize you and treat you the way that you should be treated in that type of relationship. So we've got the 10 of feathers here. Definite pain showing up for this person, and they are going to want to shield you from it, and yet they're kind of going to get a little bit overwhelmed, and that's where you're going to see them start to back away or bail or have a time of separation, or something happens there that makes things a little bit uncomfortable or awkward. It is nowhere near as bad as what happened with this last person. You've got the Four of Feathers here. Basically, what it's going to expose for your person, your new person, is that that they've still got some healing to do in places where they thought they had already done that healing. And that's what I was going to say earlier. They think they've already accomplished some healing, and they're going to hit a wall and realize, oh my goodness, I'm being triggered. But they're actually going to realize they're being triggered, and they're actually going to be able to work through it with you. That's what's so different about this relationship. Is that ability to communicate and make things possible there. The Nine of Crystals in reverse. So this is like, or this is Earth energy. So it's like the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This is just that realization on their part, and kind of the way they bobble it for a little while when they go, wait a minute, I thought I had this together. And then they call themselves out for being in their ego, for thinking they had it together. We all do it. Think that we've solved something, and then get in and realize, oh, I still have more of this to solve. And then you have to kind of, you were believing yourself to be somebody who had already solved this, and you have to kind of rewrite that belief to include, but I still have some more work to do. I have solved some of this. So you've got the 10 of Crystals here. It tried to come out earlier, I think in the reverse, and it wasn't the right time. The 10 of Crystals here is about the impact that the two of you have on your environment, but this is really more about the impact they want to have on your environment, because this is the whole angle of this question, is about what their intentions are here. And we see that their intentions get derailed a little bit because they want to treat you right. They want to have a decent environment with you, whether you're building a household or just building a friendship, or you're even building a work team. You know, they want to have that partnership. They want to be able to have togetherness. They discover, though, that they've got a little bit of a wall there. They've got some things that they've got to figure out, and they aren't quite sure how to move ahead. And that's how they figure out that it's not quite lesson learned, that they've got some things to do there. But they get it together. So this is action, and this is action that incorporates emotion, because it's water energy, the Knight of Shells. So they are able to continue to be interactive. They don't, like I was saying, this isn't anything near as severe as what you will have experienced with this other person. They don't have a tendency to run away and stay run away for months and years at a time. This is somebody who figures it out relatively quickly and says, oh, wow, you know what? All right, I've got more to figure out here, but I'm not convinced I can't figure it out in conjunction with you. So how about if we, continue to have this conversation, only now maybe you become more aware of what some of the chinks in their armor are. With this Knight of Shells, that's almost that ability to come forward in that emotional way, even in light of some of the nervousness that they might have as they realize where they're not healed. So let's get a feel then for what you can be doing in this energy, because this person might be close to you already. They might be around. Ooh, what did I drop here? Okay. This one came out, and it wants to be part of the reading. What you need to know is to go with the flow. This is a situation where things can change relatively quickly. Neither of you is going to be in control. I think you're getting a little bit more used to that idea now, but the idea here is to just let it happen, because it's very slow. It doesn't happen like it's not going to be like a lightning bolt. It's not that kind of thing. It's much more gentle than that. We have the Five of Shells here. You're going to discover everything that you maybe feel like you did wrong in the other situation, and you might feel a little bit like you're doing some things wrong here. You're being encouraged to just kind of sit back and take a look at the situation. I think when we get into the extended, we need to understand a little bit more of what they expect from you, because we see here what they want, like what their intentions are, but I don't know exactly what they're expecting from you from this. And I think as I'm looking at how things are landing with you, that might be something that we want to look into. So for those of you who want to have that, it does feel like almost a personal reading because it's so few people that click on it. And I'm not complaining. That's not it. I'm just saying that it becomes kind of more specific energy. I should probably be careful how I say that. I don't want it to come out wrong. But anyway, the Five of Shells here is kind of showing that a little bit of a, ooh, where did I mess up in the past? Where did I, it makes you very conscientious, which matches their conscientiousness, but you can overdo it. The Seven of Feathers here is that feeling that, okay, now I'm not sure what I trust. You're not sure if you trust yourself, not sure if you trust. There's a little bit of kind of you come back and circle the wagons with yourself at this point, and just kind of try to understand what is happening when you get to this place of not being sure what you trust and what you don't. That's the recommendation. Just kind of, take it easy. Take it easy for a moment. Let's see, we want both of these. So we've got the Two of Feathers. You will end up with a decision to make. You've had this a lot lately, a lot of crossroads, a lot of decisions. This one, though, this decision is a little more the type that if you, it doesn't matter which way you go, you are still going to get to where you're going. This relationship with this person is a little bit of a fast track to a solution, or a little bit of a fast track to a lesson that you're already working on and that you've been working on around that. It's kind of got a little bit of the self-worth to it, but there's more to it than that. There's kind of this feeling of I want to say the like that there's an imposter syndrome almost. I'm not sure that I'm worth this. I'm not sure you should have picked me. Surely you're mistaken. That sort of feeling. And it's actually coming in with this Queen of Crystals. So the Queen of Crystals is often a card of self-worth for me. And it's more that kind of King of Crystals energy that makes you feel like there's an imposter syndrome there, but I'm actually feeling it off this one. There's a little bit of a sense of realizing that you're not sure about yourself and feeling a little bit disappointed about that. And it cuts you off at the knees a little bit. So it's not so much that this is going to happen. This is not predicting your future. This is saying, here's the energy that's out there. So be aware of it, so that you have some idea about how you might think about navigating that energy. Let's see here. So we've got the Love card in the reverse. This is the equivalent of the Lover's card in the traditional tarot. And it's also a choice. There's something here that makes you feel like you don't have a choice in something, but it's like an emotional choice. You're feeling like you are lacking an emotional choice with this person, like you can't get into it or something, in some cases. Or you're constantly having your emotions for this person overshadowed by the emotions that you have for this person that's in your past. I wonder if maybe that's something we look into in the extended as well. We've got this Five of Acorns, which is the struggle that you're with this Five of Fire, same energy. Here in the upright, it's kind of that reminder that energy is really coming your direction. So I think that is what we're going to talk about a little bit when we get into the extended. When we talk about you, I think it makes sense for you to look at we're going to see the expectations of you, because these are really where your new person, this new person that's coming in, what their intentions are toward you. We're going to learn a little bit more about what their expectations are of you. But then this is all feeling uncertain to me. This feels like not being sure about those expectations, or having self-doubt, even though maybe those expectations have begun to be communicated. But there's definitely something in here where they are coming and starting to say, okay, here's what happened with my getting triggered. But by then, I think you're already triggered. So we kind of need to understand a little bit there, as far as how you need to move forward. But also, what I'd like to see in there is a little bit of how you might manage it if you're still kind of trying to figure out how to prioritize the energy between this person and your other soulmate. So I think that's what we'll look at when we get into your extended reading here in a little bit. I appreciate you being here with me. If this feels like it resonates, you might want to go ahead and subscribe, because this is something that it's very much connected with all the other readings. I'll see you in the extended if you want to. The link is down below. Otherwise, I will plan to see you again in tomorrow's reading.